Anxiety, anxiety, oh.
Teresa, I've been thinking a lot lately. You're a bit weird. You've been doing a lot of weird things lately.
Like what?
You're a
Aren't we all a
little
little bit
weirdo.
Aren't we all?
You got mad weirdo behavior vibes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Compliment.
Yeah.
Not usually a compliment, but aren't we all a little bit weird? Come on, what is normal?
Right? We all got our quirks.
I feel like I have plenty. You have many.
Like what?
You have an abundance.
Like what?
You're, what's the word? Pacific.
That's just rude. That is not weird. That's rude. God damn. Welcome to episode 78, guys. I thought we were having a playful intro and Teresa's just throwing bombs over there.
Calling me a weirdo.
Yeah.
Fight back.
Like you have a problem with belly buttons. A little weird.
You went there.
Weird.
You went there.
Yeah, a little weird.
I feel like we haven't talked about that in a long time.
I specifically went there.
Does anybody else have omphallophobia? That's my belly button fear. I can't look at people touching it or touch my own. It's a really bad.
Or clean it.
You didn't need to leave that part in, but awesome. I can't touch it. It makes me nauseous. It makes me physically ill to, oh my God, like the thought of touching my belly button right now makes me want to puke. I don't know what it is. That's one of my quirks.
Yeah.
And black socks.
That one's more weird.
Explain.
I feel like the first one probably happens to a lot of people.
Because it's an actual phobia.
Yeah, the black sock thing. I don't know.
There's no name for that one.
I don't know. A little weird.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it. I will go first. My sister-in-law licked my face, and now my brother is not talking to me.
Huh?
All right. I'm sorry for the title, but that's as concise as I could be about it. I am 22 male, and my brother is 28 male. He has been engaged to his fiancée for a few months now. She is 24. My brother's fiancée is your typical spoiled party girl, and to be honest, so is my brother. In the last year or so, my brother and I have had a strained relationship. This is mostly due to differences of opinion when helping take care of my mom, who is struggling with some PTSD/anxiety. She got held hostage by a man at her job, is still recovering and not back to work yet.
Jesus.
For some context, my brother is a very impatient and opinionated person who struggles to see things outside his own perspective. He doesn't have a good grasp on mental health. He is easily persuaded by what he reads online, gets caught up in conspiracy theories, and I noticed COVID/the pandemic kind of exasperated all of this. I work as a paramedic, and he has been arguing with me about thinking that I know better than him ever since. I am adopted, and my bio mom was of a different ethnicity, so we don't look like brothers. When he can't think of a way to win an argument, he brings up the fact that I'm not her real son or his real brother. It wasn't always like this between us, which is sad. He's just not the same person, and I'm not sure if it's work stress/life stress or what. I get that this post is going to be skewed by my perspective, but I'll try to be objective when it comes to the conflict. My birthday was last weekend when this happened. My brother's fiancé apparently had the idea to throw me a surprise party. Most of the people there were friends of my brother and the fiancé. Everyone was drunk. They made a bit of a show, bringing me out a cake and having me blow the candles. Before I did that, my brother's fiancé swiped frosting on her finger and put it on my cheek. I thought it was her just being nice and not trying to smash a piece of cake in my face. I blew out the candles, and after I did that, his fiancé grabbed my face and licked it. Like from my jaw all the way up the side of my face.
Ew.
I have no idea why she did this. We don't even have that kind of relationship where it would be funny. My brother's face changed. His demeanor changed. He became very withdrawn and irritable. They were seen quietly fighting, and he ended up leaving the party. I brought it up the next day to make sure he was okay, and apparently the two of them made up. It's me he has an issue with. I don't know what she told him, but it seems like as if I'm the one being made out to be flirting with her, wanting her, etc. Not even remotely true. I told him to leave me out of his relationship problems. It's his partner who disrespected him and embarrassed him. He's angry at the wrong person. I refuse to apologize. Apparently, I am going to be out of the wedding unless I do. He's upset because I won't admit to my mistake. Well, I don't feel like I made one. Should I just do it for the sake of settling it? Normally, I'm willing to be the bigger person, but this is a false accusation I don't want attached to myself. Am I the asshole?
For what? For literally what?
Getting licked?
You were a victim. I would point blank ask him, what did you want me to do? Smack her?
Right?
As she's licking? Like, how did you want me to stop it?
I can just imagine, like, playfully puts the ice in there. You're like, ha ha, well, gonna have to wash my face after I blow out the candles. And then right after, like, they sing the happy birthday and you blow, she comes in and just like, and just like up your whole side of your face. And you're just like, kind of like, you either have two reactions, like you like jump away right away, or you just like, you're shocked.
You're frozen.
And you're frozen. You just like kind of like let it happen. And then you look at them, you're like, what the fuck was that?
That's wild. Did the brother ask his fiance why she did that? Why is this being put on OP? I would love to know what his ideal situation would have been.
Right?
Because yeah, did you want me to yell at her? Did you want me to physically stop her? Like, what did you want me to do?
Not still his fault.
That's crazy. He's literally a victim.
Yeah. One of the top comments, your brother and his fiance are behaving like children. If you apologize for this incident, then it's likely that he will continue to treat you with disrespect. If he takes you out of the wedding, he will have to explain the reasons to others, which should prove embarrassing for him and his fiance. Perhaps you should call him on his bluff. Regardless, not the asshole. And OP says, you know what? I'm not opposed to threatening him like that. Thank you.
That's actually so true. It's like, wait, what do you mean your brother's not part of your wedding party anymore? Oh, yeah, my fiance licked his face, so he's not in it anymore.
Right?
I feel like at that point, they won't use that excuse, though.
No, they'll say something else.
Yeah.
My
Because
fiance
they know
was
it's stupid.
My brother was hitting on my fiance.
Yeah, like they would twist it as like OP was flirting with his fiance, and he was the instigator. He was the one coming on to her, and
this story reminds me of another one of your weirdo behaviors. Sometimes we'll just lay on the couch cuddling and you'll just lick my arm.
You do that too.
Right. But the difference is you absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I do.
When I lick you.
Yeah, I do.
And then the hypocrisy comes in.
Yeah.
And you'll just be like, you'll like, give me a little dab with your tongue. And then you think it's funny and cute. But if I react and I lick you back, it's like, oh my God, you're disgusting. That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody else do that?
You don't hate it.
No. But I hate the fact. No, I hate the fact that it's not equal and I can't do it back. Not fair.
I don't know. I don't like being wet.
Oh, but you like making people wet, making me wet. Yeah. Anybody else have this issue? So there's another comment. Not the asshole. I wouldn't cave either. Here's what I think. It's cliche, but you're probably the hotter, smarter brother. Your brother has insecurity issues about his relationship, intelligence, and other things, so usually those people tend to get jealous easily and have paranoia about losing their partner to someone else. Not excusing the fiancé either, because she definitely tried to keep herself innocent/victim and put everything on you when your brother confronted her. It's a cop-out, but it's easier for him to pin it on you versus her. Her being closer in age to you, I bet she does have a crush, or at least some kind of attraction to you, and it came up when she was drunk. If she didn't lie, I wouldn't think that, but the lying means she's trying to cover up feelings. Info. Has she flirted in the past? And OP replies and says, I never thought about it actually, and nothing really stands out. She's obsessed with K-pop, and I am half Korean. So she's made comments to me, but I didn't interpret them as flirting. I thought she was just trying to be nice and don't know how else to connect when I shared about the whole being adopted thing. When she's sober, she is more awkward/shy. My brother lives with my mom, so usually when I visit and we're talking, my mom and brother are around too, and it's more of a family vibe.
Maybe it's like a kink that she has.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Who licks someone's face as a joke in public, and then who does it to their like brother-in-law?
I would agree with this comment that she probably like got drunk and her intrusive thoughts came in and her intrusive thoughts won.
Imagine I just lick my face.
That's what I'm picturing.
Right?
That's what I'm picturing.
I would be like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, like that would be fucking weird.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not surprised actually by the reaction of the brother, because just from like the little bit of background that we have on him, he brings up the fact that he's adopted in every argument when he's losing.
Brother piece of shit.
Yeah, that just says everything I need to know about him, because like when it comes to like arguing like two different sides of a story or whatever, two different points of views, and someone brings up like when someone goes low,
right? When
and they have nothing else to say.
Like when they have to win but they can't win.
Yeah, that's just very telling. I've lost respect for you at that point, because it's like, okay, now you're like grasping at straws and you're just trying to be petty and it's a low blow.
Right?
It's embarrassing.
If I have an argument with someone and maybe they're right and they're stuck on them being right, and I'm not trying to convince them that they're right, my response is usually like, well, you could be right.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm there yet with that. I still think this. We'll have to agree to disagree or maybe find a way to find the answer or something. Like, I feel like I have a diplomatic approach to it where even if your opinion is this, I'm not hating on you. I'm like, hey, you could be right. I don't necessarily agree with you, but there's a strong chance you're still right. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's not become enemies from it.
Exactly.
So one more comment on the original post. Not the asshole. What I don't get is why you'd even want to attend the wedding. You have a strained relationship. He does not see you as a brother with the not your mom jabs. His relationship does not seem to be on very stable footing, and he will become more and more erratic. You should put as much polite distance between you and your brother / his relationship for your own peace of mind. He seems to have already singled you out as a future scapegoat. And OP replies and says, this one hurts. I think I need to hear it though. You're not wrong. I guess I'm always just trying to understand him, and I need to stop doing that, especially when he's not giving me that same kind of understanding. I thought we could get back to the relationship we had before, but it's not looking like it's getting any better. So an update comes 10 days later. After trying to reach out to my brother, he finally came around and stopped ignoring me. He didn't want to talk about what happened, but was willing to put it behind us. To be honest, I think talking about it would have been healthier, but I decided to let it go because he was so adamant. Then, just the other day, he came to me on his own and admitted that he feels unsure about his relationship and is struggling to trust his fiancée ever since the incident on my birthday.
Wow.
I told him there's no rush to get married and he should take some time to figure out what he's feeling. I didn't try to give any particular opinion because I feel like this is something he needs to figure out for himself. Also, I generally don't know what's going on between them. He still took it the wrong way somehow and we ended up having an argument. He thinks I'm not happy for him and I don't want to see him successful / starting a family. I tried to walk away at this point in the conversation because no matter what I said, it was going to get misconstrued, but he didn't want to stop fighting. Somewhere in that, I finally learned why he's so mad at me these days. It turns out he's pissed that our mom paid for my tuition. I have been doing a lot of overtime to pay her back. If it matters, she doesn't actually want me to pay her back. It was a gift, but I'd like to pay her back slowly. My brother feels this money should have been given to him for his wedding, which I am no longer invited to.
Ooh.
I don't really know how to fix things, but that's where we're at.
Oh, okay. So it seems like he has mommy issues.
Yeah, he's got some mommy issues, and he still lives with mommy.
But kind of valid though. Like, why is the mom paying for OP's tuition and? Like, does she pay for the brother's tuition?
I don't know. Maybe the brother didn't go to school or something.
I feel like you should still make it even in some way.
I agree, but she said that he paid for his schooling, but he wanted the money for his wedding. Not, oh, she paid for your schooling, but not my schooling. I wanted money for something else.
Yeah, so I guess we don't have those facts.
So that makes me feel like why it's not even is like maybe he would have got money if he went to school or something. Not 100% sure there. If they both went to school and she paid for his tuition and he's got loans for his, Okay, yeah, I'd be upset
Yeah.
from that too. But if
Yeah.
he didn't
But
go
also
to,
still not the brother's fault. It's still not OP's fault.
yeah, it's
That's
not his
like
decision. You should be mad at your mom.
exactly. The brother is getting mad at the wrong people here.
Yep.
OP is just the punching bag for this guy.
So that update was 10 days later, and then 16 days later, there's another update. My mom and brother got into it over the weekend. I've accepted being uninvited for my brother's wedding, but her mom wasn't having it. She was trying to understand where his anger is coming from. The problem is, I don't think he knows, and having conversations where he's questions about it just makes everything worse. I wasn't present. It's something my mom called me about. Apparently, after his explosion at her, he stormed out into the cold without shoes. She got worried. I have realized that I'm not the person he wants to see in those moments, or the person he wants to receive help from. I want to be that person, and I'll always be available in the background, but somehow I've become a part of his problem. My presence only ever fuels his anger. For that reason, I told my mom to contact his fiance, and she did. Fiance brought him back to the house, and my mom didn't mention the wedding or anything else. She told me today that they started talking normally to each other again. I've also talked to my mom privately. I've made it clear that I'm not attending and she should give up on having me there. She initially wanted to threaten her own attendance, but we decided that she should support my brother in hopes of leaving a line of communication with at least one family member. My mom is really heartbroken. I thought about contacting his fiance, then decided against it. Reading a lot of the comments I received, many of you pointed out that I need to stop trying to fix things. Some people took it too far and wrote me violent little DMs because the last line of the previous update made them feel some type of way, but I've had people in the back of my truck say and do a whole lot worse. It takes a lot more than some words on a screen. But I get it, and I will acknowledge it actually, that I think that's one of my biggest flaws, the need to fix things. I won't get into why I'm like this. I probably need therapy of my own given the lengths I'll go to and how maladaptive it sometimes gets. Anyway, promise I'm not fixing this. As far as an update goes, this is probably my final one. I'm bowing out of my brother's downward spiral. It's the only thing I can do for him right now. The rest I will deal with personally in time. I came on here for some perspective and I feel like I've gotten that, so thank you.
Yeah, it's much better this way. I do think though that the brother will probably come back around and be begging for him back in his life because I don't think the brother is stable emotionally. I think he's like his emotions are like up and down, and I think he will soon realize that like he's being a big baby.
Yeah,
and
right?
being unreasonable.
Maybe just needs to give him time.
Yeah. But I wouldn't even say, like, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to have that relationship, rekindle that relationship afterwards, but it sounds like he's not really doing much for you in this relationship.
What does he
So, like,
add? What does he add?
it sounds like he's just bringing you stress and
It's a familial tie
yeah.
that's bringing you down.
Yeah.
What value is he adding?
Yeah, exactly.
So all of those were posted in AITAH, and then 5 months later, the OP makes a post in r/advice titled, "I'm burning out. I'm 22 male. I work as a paramedic in New York City. The pay isn't great here, and the call volume is overwhelming. I recently had a very traumatic call, and I can't stop thinking about it. Last year, I got scouted for modeling, which I did on the side, but only made about $12,000. Not enough to quit my day job, and that isn't necessarily my goal, but it helped me take on less overtime. Other than that, I've thought about becoming a flight medic for the significant bump in pay, but all roads feel like they lead to further burnout. I'm constantly running on empty. Night shifts are brutal for me. I think about leaving my job all the time, and yet I work so much that I'm simultaneously locked in, which leaves no room to think about alternatives. I try to convince myself it's just the weather, that spring is around the corner, and as it warms up, I'll probably cheer up soon. Maybe this weight I have in my chest will lift, or at least become less heavier. I keep thinking of relocating to work the same job somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, or maybe another career. I have some savings set aside for a degree. Someone told me all my hobbies are too adrenaline heavy, and maybe that's contributing something to the way that I feel. I never saw it like that though. I also have a brother who struggles with addiction. He was recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. He has had 2 overdoses in the last month and a half. His wife keeps finding a way to dissuade him from treatment programs. The second overdose occurred on a day pass that she was an escort for.
Huh?
I am no contact with my brother and his wife. I am low contact with my mom, who I have a good relationship with, but she lives with my brother.
Oh.
Unfortunately, when my mom reaches out to me desperate for my help, I feel like I have to respond. I don't know why I made this post. I don't even have a clear question to ask you guys, but I'm just wanting some kind of objective outsider opinion. What would you do in my shoes?
Damn. Okay. Well, we got, yeah, okay.
Got some
updates
on the wedding and the brother.
Yeah, there's like 2 parts to this. The job thing, I feel like I could relate. Like,
I feel like a lot of people can relate to that,
can relate.
especially like I can totally see it being a paramedic.
I couldn't imagine.
My cousin's a paramedic.
Yeah.
And I just think that being in like a trauma
Anything.
paramedic or like a trauma surgeon in the emergency room at the hospital.
Nurse, doctor.
Yeah, I just feel like that is like the most heaviest possible job that you can have, because you are just on a roller coaster of other people's life or death situations, terrible car wrecks. You are seeing people die. You are seeing blood. You are seeing trauma in a lot of situations, and you try your best and sometimes you can't save people. I just feel like that is like one of the heaviest emotional jobs out there.
100%. Yeah. You have to be built differently to do those types of jobs.
Yeah, I think so.
And mad respect to anybody who is out there doing that. But also, I feel like totally valid to feel this way, even in any job. Like I would feel like, even if you're out there and you're like working a desk job and you're like, I'm burnt out, like you can still feel that way. But especially being a paramedic,
I feel like yeah, you can definitely feel like the work world grind on you, like no matter what you are, and feeling pressure to do overtime to earn that money no matter what job.
Yeah.
I just think it's even tenfold with these kind of jobs, because you're
100%.
going through an emotional roller coaster of like not just being burnt out from the job, but also being burnt out from like literal traumatic experiences of trying to save someone's life and then it being unsuccessful.
Yeah.
That would be so painful.
Yeah. He was saying he doesn't know if he should get another job or do something else. I think you should probably look. You're still 22.
Yeah.
Can you see yourself doing this for another 40 years?
Right? That's a great question too.
If you're feeling this way now, you've probably only been in the field for a couple years. Like, I would be looking elsewhere like that.
I would absolutely recommend, mixing it up. Even if you do get a paramedic in the Pacific Northwest, do that. That sounds amazing. Even a flight medic, even if you still want to like use your credentials that you have, like just mix it up. Maybe a new job, different location would change things for you and keep things fresh. And postpone that burnout, and maybe a change of scenery and location could determine whether or not you actually want a career change, or maybe you're happier in a different environment.
And then the part with the brother and the mom living with the brother, when did that come in? Because
no, I mean, even in the last stories, he was living with his mom.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that.
It seems like the wife has now moved in with both of them.
Yeah, naturally.
The part where it says the second OD occurred on a day pass that she was an escort for. I had to read that a couple of times, but what my understanding is, he was in rehab and he was allowed to be like out of rehab on like a day pass to go like do stuff in the city outside the facility.
Oh, yeah.
And a person's going to sign him in and sign him out and escort him. And his wife was that person, and then let him do drugs while she was escorting. And he OD'd while on a day pass away from the rehab center.
That's fucking wild.
That is wild.
That's like the one person
who's supposed to
help you. That's probably the only person he would listen to.
Right.
And she is sabotaging him.
Yeah. So top comment on that post. Take some days off, honey. Don't feel bad, but love your brother from afar. That's what we have to do with addicts. Let him know you love him and want to support his recovery. Decide what of your options will be the most fulfilling yet manageable. You are so young and you already seem to be killing it, maybe too much. Seasonal depression is a thing. I live in Minnesota. The winters are long, even though this year has not been bad. If you want to move someplace for better weather, do it. Now is the time. You also aren't responsible for your mom. You can love her from afar if you need to. I guarantee you will be fine. I can tell you will figure it out, but seriously, take some days off. And OP replies and says, thank you. I think I need to learn to love from afar. It's something I can't seem to figure out how to do. The responsibility to be there during a crisis feels so crushing. I'll consider taking some time off. Maybe that's the one thing that will give me clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the final update comes 10 days later. Am I the asshole for wanting to leave my family and move across the country? I, 22 male, have been low contact with my mom for months now because I'm no contact with my brother, and both him and his wife live with her. In an ideal world, I would be able to maintain a good relationship with my mom, but it's really hard to have that right now. My brother has had 2 overdoses in the last 2 months or so. He's spiraling so fast. Any attempts at treatment are rebuked by his wife, but she'll show up at my door to cry and try to convince me to drive her around and go looking for him. He has tried to use my identity to commit fraud. Luckily, the activity got flagged by my bank. He also attempted to sign up on a gambling site using my information. He was so desperate for money around New Year's that he stole the battery from my motorcycle. My mom calls me in a crisis all the time requesting to help in dealing with my brother. Sometimes I think she's calling just for me, and I'll almost share something only to find out she was just making polite conversation before she could work up the courage to ask for my help. I work as a paramedic, so between work and my family, it feels like I never get a break. I have never shared my feelings with them or anyone really. I just know I'm reaching my limit. A friend of mine has encouraged me to move in with him and split rent. I told my mom when she found out I sold my motorcycle. She didn't take it well. She said I was their lifeline. She told me if I leave, I should be ready to live with the fact that I will be letting my brother die and that I'm abandoning them during a time of hardship. The thing is, I still want to go.
You have to do what's best for you. Oh my God. I can understand the pressure, but if you don't go, like, where will you end up? Like,
right?
You're also crashing out. This is not, you have to think about yourself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. That's really kind of sick and twisted that your mom said you are the lifeline, putting that pressure on you. And if your brother dies, that's on you.
No, it's on him.
How is that on OP? OP's not even, he has no contact with him.
Yeah, how is this related to OP at all?
People need to take responsibility for their own actions.
You don't get to treat people like shit and then expect them to be your lifeline.
Yeah, 100%.
So top comment on that post, not the asshole. Your mom saying that you'll be letting your brother die is emotional blackmail. Full stop. That's not love or support. She's shouldering you with guilt dressed as a family obligation. I could bet her parenting, specifically her boundary stomping, is a particular factor that led to your brother's substance abuse. And it's not your responsibility. You didn't choose your brother's addiction. You didn't ask to be the emotional punching bag for your mother's inability to set boundaries. You're not the one running from rehab or committing fraud. Don't become just another EMT saving lives while your own life quietly falls apart. You're 22. That's still so young to be carrying the emotional weight of an entire collapsing household. No one is built to live in that kind of pressure cooker forever. Not even a paramedic. Moving away doesn't make you cruel. It makes you brave. You're not running from your family. You're choosing yourself for once. And honestly, that might be the first time in your life that you've been allowed to do that without someone laying a guilt trip on your back. You can still love people and walk away. You can care without self-sacrifice. You can say, this isn't mine to fix, and still have a beating heart. It's not abandonment. It's self-preservation. You're not an addiction counselor. So yeah, it hurts. It always does when you're the one breaking the cycle. But the fact that you still want to go after all that guilt that's been thrown at you, that says everything. You know this is the right move. You just needed someone to tell you it's okay to follow through.
100% completely agree with the statement that he said, that this person said. You would be brave if you left.
Yeah.
You would be, because it is definitely harder to leave something that is like comfortable and something that, you feel complicit in, rather than put yourself first.
Yeah.
You would be doing the best thing for yourself, and honestly, it would be respected by a lot of people other than your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice not to.
Yeah.
Oh, started with a weirdo behavior and then went deep down a rabbit hole.
I went deep, yeah. Mine are more light.
All right, let's bring it to you to pick up the mood.
All right. Am I the asshole for having issues with my girlfriend's 11-and-a-half-year-old son not giving us privacy? Long story short, my girlfriend, 44, I'm 37, she has an almost 12-year-old son who will often ask to sleep in her bed. He has not hit puberty yet or anything, but she does often allow this. I don't live there and never sleep there. The one time I spent the night, the boy banged the side of his bed in his room until 2 a.m. until she eventually caved and went and slept in his bed with him, me alone in her room. We just got back from our first family vacation, a one-bedroom condo with a loft that had 2 single beds for the kids, her daughter 9 and the boy nearing 12. The daughter had no issues sleeping up there. The boy slept up there the first night, but said we had to keep our master bedroom door open all night. This is even a policy at their home. She must sleep with her bedroom door open. The second or third night, the house is dark and quiet for at least an hour. Everyone should be sleeping. Me and my girlfriend start fooling around a bit, very quietly. Sure enough, the boy sneaks downstairs and peeks into our room and sees me and his mom doing stuff. 45 minutes of pure chaos follows, of yelling, screaming, you name it. He does not like his mom doing stuff with me. Side note, the boy really likes me otherwise, and we do tons of guy hobbies and fun stuff together. He likes having me around, just doesn't like me being alone with her. So for the remainder of the trip, he says he's sleeping on the couch, which is just outside our room, with the door wide open, of course. She allows this. The one night I get up around midnight to take a pee. The house has been quiet and dark for over an hour. Everyone should be sleeping. I get up really quietly and peek around the doorframe to see what the boy is doing. He should be sleeping. And sure enough, he's awake, just staring down the hall into our room, listening, waiting, monitoring, if there are any sounds or noises or anything. This is creepy AF to me. I close the door to the bedroom after I go to the bathroom, but not latched all the way closed. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, he comes storming down the hall, swings the door open violently, screaming, "Why is the door closed?" She gets up and starts screaming at me for closing it. I calmly explain how he was just sitting, watching, waiting, listening for anything from our room. She grabs a pillow and blanket and runs out to the couch where he should be sleeping, and they eventually all go upstairs and sleep in the loft, me alone in the main bedroom. Is this all too much? We've been dating over a year. I have hung out with them as a family tons and tons of times, at their house very frequently, etc. But this boy and mom's attachment isn't normal, is it? He is totally okay with his father getting remarried and has no issues with him or his new wife, by the way, but only sees the father a couple times a year, lives on the other side of the country. Guessing a total of 5 or 6 weeks a year he goes to see him. He really loves and looks up to his dad and is well behaved when he visits him, I've been told. Am I the asshole?
No, it's freaking weird. Little, oh my God.
I'm picturing like the couch, like being like this, and he's just like all you could see is his eyes in the darkness.
I'm picturing like the little boy from The Grudge.
Oh. Is that the one with the hair?
It's like the white little, yeah, it's the one with
Grudge.
the movie with the hair, but there's this one little boy. He's like pure white, basically, like,
I don't know.
Like pale. He's like pale, and he's really
scared.
creepy.
I wish I didn't look at that.
What'd you search?
The Grudge.
Look up little boy from The Grudge.
No, I'm scared now. No, I'm scared.
That's what I envisioned, just like creeping out.
I don't like that.
So yeah, that's what I'm envisioning for that. But like, I just think this is really weirdo behavior. Like 12 is too old. It's too old. It's time for your girlfriend to start setting boundaries. And honestly, like, he is a child and it's weirdo behavior from him. But it's more weirdo behavior of the enabling from the mom.
Exactly.
Because it's like, okay, if you're like 8, I think when I was 8 or something, thunderstorm happened or scary, I might have run in to jump in my parents.
Oh yeah, I definitely did too.
But you get to double digits, now we're tempering that off. You're screaming at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Banging
Banging
on the bed.
There's going to be consequences in the morning. There's 100%. I mean, there's nothing I can really do to stop you from banging and screaming. I'm going to come in and I'm going to say something, maybe raise my voice a little bit, but there's nothing like you can really, like, what can you really do? You can't strap the kid down or something. But in the morning, you're losing your devices. Privileges are being restrained. We're going to Disney World tomorrow. No more Disney World.
Snatched away.
Yep. Boom. So definitely you got to start setting those boundaries and start setting those expectations, because she is absolutely enabling this weirdo behavior.
Yeah. I would say it's not really the kid's fault. This has everything to do with the mom.
Yeah, for sure.
Top comment. This is very weird, but I think you're talking to two walls at this point. You may have to consider if this is a deal breaker or not. Not the asshole.
Oh, deal breaker for me. I'm done. After this holiday, done. Unless it's like, okay. I mean, I'm very easy to just say I'm done. This is maybe not a deal breaker.
He's 12. Like, he will probably outgrow this.
The deal breaker is whether she will make steps to fix it.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping with the door open.
Yeah.
I don't care. And if we can't have our own privacy, that's the deal breaker for me.
That's an issue.
If she's unwilling to make adjustments, deal breaker for me. If going forward, I show her this Reddit post and she realizes she's a crazy mom making a mommy's boy, and she is like, I'm not changing anything, that's deal breaker.
Yeah.
If she's willing to make adjustments, we can fix this.
Yeah. Has OP like actually talked to her about this? Has this been like brought up in a conversation and just like sat her down and been like, hey, I'm kind of uncomfortable with this. Like,
yeah, like, I'm not down for this.
Like, is there anybody else in her life that can maybe tell her that this is not normal? Like, maybe she just doesn't know that this is not normal. Maybe
her mom let her sleep with her until she was 17. Who knows? Had no restrictions on it. Maybe her mom just let her grow out of it at her own pace, and she doesn't remember ever being denied by her parents.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like when you were a kid, did you ever like try to sleep with your parents and then they were like, "Hey, you need to go back to your room"?
Yes. I used to have anxiety as a kid a lot. Like I would
That's so surprising.
I know, right? I used to like
out of left field.
Yeah, I used to like have panic attacks at night, and I would like go wake my mom up for her to come sleep with me.
Okay.
And my dad would get mad. My dad would be like, "No. Like, no, we're not doing this anymore." Like, after a few times, it was like, okay, no, like, there needs to be a boundary. And at the time, I hated him for it.
Yeah.
I freaking hated him. I was like, what the hell? I need my mom. Like, I'm vulnerable right now, whatever. But I think it is necessary. I just don't know where the line is. I don't know. Like,
parenting.
Because you also don't want to abandon your child when they do actually need you, because then that'll create resentment and
don't abandon
create other issues. But
it's not abandonment. It's teaching your kid that that they need to sleep by themselves. It's not abandoning. You need to you need to explain it.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm not abandoning you, but this can't keep happening. You're a big boy now. You're grown up. You need to be sleeping by yourself.
Yeah. No, maybe it needs to be worded like, I don't know, give him like maybe like positive reinforcement rather than like negative. Like, rather than consequences, maybe just try to like incentivize them. I don't know how, but
yeah, if you can do this, if you can go sleep by yourself, we'll have chocolate chip pancakes in the morning.
Yeah, or like
we'll go to Denny's.
Yeah,
IHOP. Did you know what IHOP stands for?
I saw a comment about
the International House of Pancakes.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was
before
like,
what the fuck is the International House of Pancakes? And then I read it a couple more times. I was like, IHOP. That's what they're talking about, because they didn't say IHOP. They just said International House of Pancakes. And I was like, huh? But yeah, you got to set some boundaries. Also, like, where did the kids ever learn that they can sleep with the parents? Because I'm just thinking, Madison's raising Andrew. He sleeps in the crib in his bedroom at night.
I think it starts becoming when you're like a young child.
And you're scared?
Yeah, and you're scared. You have a nightmare.
And you want your parents when you're scared, and you want it's at nighttime. So I feel like that's where it starts up.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You could almost, if you were heartless, just stop, make sure that behavior never starts.
Mm-hmm.
Kid comes in the middle of the night, and instead of being, oh yeah, come sleep with mommy, you're like, okay, let me walk you back to your crib.
Let
me walk you back to your little race car bed. We're buying Andrew a race car bed, by the way.
All right.
I never had one as a kid, so I'm absolutely
I don't
giving
know
that
if
to Andrew.
Madison will let that.
I don't care.
Guess what? You're not his dad.
She's going to come home and it's going to be bolted to the floor one day.
Okay.
And I'm going to like really bolt it in there. 100 screws. Make it so it's not worth to get rid of it. But damn, yeah. Fixable, but weirdo kid behavior.
All right. Okay, there are a couple edits to add. The boy is diagnosed with ADHD and ODD, opposition defiant disorder, where I think she clearly struggles setting boundaries with him. The 9-year-old daughter is super normal, goes to bed at a decent time, stays in her bed, never causes any issues. If I am at their house watching a movie or a hockey game on a school night and it's getting late, the boy will not go to sleep. He will stay up until I leave, and she allows this. The whole family does individual therapy. The boy has seen many professionals, psychiatrists, neurologists, school resources, etc. I am just not sure how much has been addressed with the codependency. We've done lots of camping as a family unit, but never any problems since he's close by in the tent with her or us. We've been dating over a year. She had me over at her house frequently / part of the kid's life early on within the first month, I would say. So that provides some context.
I just think it's the codependency. It's just what she, as a mom, is enabling. And it's a tough thing because as a parent, I'm sure you feel like, we can't imagine. You want to protect,
Yeah.
You want your kid to be comfortable and, he has like these diagnoses and stuff. So it's like.
Diagnoses.
Yeah, you have like an extra level of like sympathy for your kid. So I can imagine it being tough as a parent to like set that boundary and let go. But I think, it's hard to see it when you're on the other side of the fence. So, yeah. All right, over to me.
Back to you.
This one's coming from Nuclear Revenge. Neighbor tried to get my mom fined over our shed. So I got his $40,000 pool filled in. I live with my mom. She's quiet, keeps to herself, never bothers anybody. A few months ago, our new neighbor decided to report her to the city for having a, quote, illegal shed in the backyard. It was total bullshit. The shed's been there for years and has full permits. An inspector came out, checked everything, and left without saying a word. But the neighbor, smug, proud, thought he'd scared us. So I did a little digging. Turns out his brand new pool was way too close to the property line and illegally built over a utility easement. I reported him, attached photos, quoted city codes. 2 weeks later, the city ordered him to either move it, which is impossible, or fill it in. He lost the whole thing, $40,000 down the drain, literally. Now he gets to look at our completely legal shed every day while standing over a pile of dirt where his pool used to be. Mom sleeps great now.
Evil laugh. I love that.
It's a little weird behavior to report somebody when you got your own skeletons.
Even without, what is it to you if I have a shed in my backyard?
Maybe he's blocking his view.
I highly doubt that.
Like, how big is this shed? Like, I'm
picturing a normal size shed.
Like 10 feet by 10 feet to hold the lawnmower.
My ignorant ass didn't even know that you needed a permit for a shed.
Depends on how big it is.
That's weird to me. I guess it kind of makes sense, but I wouldn't think so. Like, I wouldn't think if we had a house, I wouldn't think, oh, we got to get a permit for the shed.
Well, it depends on where you live. There is. It depends on the size of the building. Yeah.
But yeah, weirdo behavior to be like, people are just bored. I've said this so many times. People are just bored with their lives. Like, they want drama. They want to be a burden to other people's lives just for like some fulfillment.
Oh, that neighbor got a lot of drama.
Yeah.
A lot of pool drama, filling in his pool.
It must have felt good to be OP, man.
Top comment: you should get a small kiddie pool and put it in your backyard, fill it, and sit at it while staring at his house and drinking a margarita. Next comment: and then when he comes outside and sees you, nod, raise your glass at him and wink. Splash some of the water for full effect.
I love that. Oh my God. People are so smart on Reddit, man.
Right? Love that one. Some weirdo neighbor behavior.
All right.
Back to you.
Today I fucked up by asking what a guy who hates me said about me in a group chat. I, 20 female, was hanging out with some of my friends. Namely, one of my friends brought her boyfriend with her. I like the guy, but he definitely doesn't run in the same circles as the rest of us. He was telling us a story involving one of his friends, who I happen to have a class with. Let's call this friend Eric. I really don't know the guy, just like I really don't know any of his friends. But I have noticed whenever I was in class with Eric, he seemed to go out of his way to not interact with me, not even look at me, even though I sat relatively in his direct line of sight. Even in group discussions, he seemed to ignore me or vaguely glare at me. So naturally, I said something like, OMG, dude, Eric hates me for some reason. Is there anything I did to upset him? And suddenly the boyfriend gets super uncomfortable, and the girlfriend, my friend, kind of starts laughing a little bit. She suddenly goes, oh, come on, tell her what he said in the group chat. The guy seemed really hesitant to tell me, so I started pressing him a bit because I was worried I had actually screwed up and had something to apologize for, as it seemed to me this random person hated me. I'm also kind of having fun with it. I was kind of thinking, well, what's the worst it could be? I've literally barely spoken to him. Eventually he goes, well, I just don't think he hates you at all. He actually really likes you. Now I was even more confused, so I pressed again, and he comes out with it. Well, he says, Eric kind of has some strange turn-ons. I obviously immediately started pressing again, because literally what the fuck? And he goes, Eric has mentioned a few times how you have a huge forehead. You're a part of like a lot of his fantasies because of how big yours is. He says he wants to come all over it. This man I barely know was talking in a group chat with literally dozens of his friends about his fucking forehead kink and my huge fucking forehead. I stopped pressing after that shit, but apparently that wasn't even the worst of it. Learned my lesson, FML.
Holy, what the fuck? I'm sorry? Wasn't even the worst of it? What was the worst of it? Oh my God. You know when that person who like has such a big crush on you, they don't know how to react? So
I'm picturing Edward and Bella in Twilight. Like Edward being like that awkward weirdo, like twitching in class, like when he gets a whiff of Bella's smell and he's like, he can't stop looking at her, but he also like tries to look away.
Yep.
Just being a weirdo freak. Oh my God, this is this is one of those times I would just rather stay ignorant. Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Who says that in a group chat?
That's so fucking weird. Like,
guys, I met this girl. I saw this girl in my class. She has the biggest forehead. I just want to come over it.
Ew!
I'd be out of that group chat.
Ew! That's fucking weird, man.
That's so nasty.
OP edits. Please stop asking for forehead pics.
What the heck?
Top comment. You just pulled me so far out of my bad mood, I may never be in a bad mood again. I am not laughing at your pain, but I am laughing. That is a story for the ages. Be proud of your 5 forehead. Shine on, shine on.
Oh my, what? Wax on, wax off.
I am deceased. Oh my God.
Oh my.
Okay.
Back to me.
Yep.
Am I overreacting? My husband didn't know my real name. So I guess I can't really be offended by this, but I 100% am. My name is Maddilaniana, spelt Maddilaniana. But that is the most complicated shit in the world, so everyone in my entire life has called me Maddie. I've never been called my full name, not even by my parents. Literally everyone calls me Maddie, including my husband. This morning, I got a package that was addressed to Madison. I asked my husband if he knew what it was, and he said it was my birthday present from his parents. I laughed and said that they thought my name was Madison. He was not laughing though. He looked really confused. I laughed even more because I thought he was kidding around. Then he asked me if my name was just Maddie, and said that he was sure Maddie was a nickname. I told him that no, my name isn't Maddie or Madison, that it's Maddilaniana. I just laughed it off and went to work. But now I've been thinking about it all day. And how the fuck does he not know my full name? How is that, how is that even possible? He must have heard me say my name, filled out a document for me, something. Am I overreacting or is this a big deal? Because, I've 100% told him my name is Maddilaniana. How could he not know? Am I overreacting?
No. Oh my gosh, I would be so pissed off. I mean, I was questioning, like, have you ever told him? But she just clarified that she has told him multiple times.
But like documents,
yeah,
like
yeah,
come
like,
on,
I don't know, booking
come on,
trips or
right?
whatever, like filling out your information for anything.
The only thing OP has left out is how long have they been married? Like, did they get married?
They're
really
married, so they're not like married.
Okay, but how long? Did they get married after dating each other for 6 months? Or is it they've been together for 7 years? Because married doesn't tell you how long they've been together. Oh, she makes a comment. She says, I've known him for 7 years. We've been married for 2. So 7 years. That would be like me not knowing your full name.
Not
never
knowing
seeing
my name isn't spelled with an H.
Yeah. Never seeing your driver's license. Never help filling out anything for you.
I think it's one thing for his parents to think it's Madison. Sure, maybe, fine, whatever. But your husband, girl,
it's a little fucked up because does that mean that like he's never like booked anything for a trip for you?
Yeah.
He's never like looked at your driver's license.
Yeah.
Like that's like it's kind of a red flag.
This is like, yeah. Like this should have come up one way or another.
Yeah. So top Q&A question. Is this your first case of, quote, he just doesn't listen, or just the most crazy one? And OP replies and says, now that I think about it, it's definitely not the first time. He also didn't know that I never wore silver and just bought me a silver engagement ring.
My worst nightmare.
We had discussed it dozens of times. Plus, I'm very big on jewelry and I've never worn silver in my life.
Yeah, no, that would fucking set me off. Oh my God. If you got me a silver engagement ring,
oof,
I would actually like, okay, yes, it's just a ring, whatever. But the underlying issue there is that you don't actually know me and you don't listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
That is an issue. That is a big concern because what else is there in a relationship if there isn't communication and listening skills?
Right?
Like just basic listening skills.
That'd be like if I got you new earrings that were like short little studs that you just got to wear 24/7 and they were silver.
Yeah.
You have told me before that you can't wear silver for a long time because your ears don't like silver. So that's why you wear gold earrings all the time.
That's actually not true.
That's what you told me.
No, I can do sterling silver.
Oh, that's okay.
Which is silver. It's not the color of it. It's the fact if it's fake or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It's okay.
I don't remember you ever clarifying sterling silver. You just said silver.
I don't think I would have ever said that because it's not true.
You never wear sterling silver. You only wear gold stuff.
Yeah, because I like gold.
Oh, okay. What about like white gold?
No, I don't like white gold.
But your ears are fine over there.
Yeah, my ears are fine.
Oh, okay.
I wear.
To be clear, this is not a very strong clarification that you like laid down ground rules. You like mentioned it one time.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not badgering you for it.
Don't be mad at me.
I'm not.
You're acting mad.
I'm literally not. Now I am.
Everybody can hear it in your tone. You're getting mad.
All right.
Getting ramped up.
All right. You're poking the bear now.
I am just poking the bear. But somebody comments onto that and says, married 25 years, together for 10 prior. I asked him what color my eyes are. He said brown. They are blue. But he knows my favorite snack, shoe size, jeans, etc. Go figure. What color are my eyes?
Purple.
What's my favorite snack?
Fucking Munchies barbecue.
That was at the top of my mind. I mean, there's a lot that could have been successful, but that's the best one. Depends on our location.
What can I say?
Yeah. What's my shoe size?
10.5.
What's my jean size?
Fuck, I don't know anymore.
What was it then?
I don't know, 34, 36.
Yeah.
One day.
Hopefully it goes back down to 34. When I met you, it was 32.
That's okay. We're not meant to be the same weight we were in our early 20s.
Your favorite snack?
I can't even think of one.
Chocolate covered blueberries, but you don't really have like a set go-to like I do. You don't get obsessed with snacks like I do.
Yeah.
Your shoe size is a 6.
Thank you.
I honestly, I don't know your jean size, like a 2.
You think I'm a 2?
I don't know.
You think I'm skinny?
I don't know women jeans. I don't think I've ever bought you pants.
I'm like a 6, sometimes an 8, sometimes a 4.
I'm just realizing, like, I don't buy you clothes. You buy yourself clothes so often that when it's time to get a gift, why would I get you something that you already get yourself often? I go for the other stuff that you don't even realize you need.
Yeah, and we don't have the same sense of style.
No, so you don't even like me buying you stuff. The last time I
No.
bought you stuff, I think it was our first Christmas when I bought you those work outfits.
Yeah.
You did like those work outfits, though.
Yeah.
What's that? What was that? Yeah.
They're good.
You wore them.
Yeah.
Did you not like them?
To be polite.
Could I have done better?
I didn't love them. If we're being honest.
Yes, please. Oh my, it's 7 years in, so we can be honest with that first Christmas.
I hated that skirt. You got me like
Really?
this pencil skirt.
I did.
I did not like it.
Oh man.
It was like, it aged me. I was like 18 at my co-op job wearing a fucking pencil skirt.
my bad.
It's okay. I like the pink shirts. I remember.
I don't even remember what I got you.
I remember the pink. It was like a chiffon material.
Yeah.
I wore that one a lot to my co-op jobs, and
This is so funny you wore this skirt because this is like we started dating in like November.
Yeah.
And then Christmas came.
I know it was so early on.
But I bought you like so much stuff too
You
that
did.
like okay, one little skirt. It wasn't like that was the main thing. You're like, it was like I spent like $700 on you on that first Christmas.
What?
Yeah, I bought you so much stuff. It was at least $500. I remember just going like nuts. Because I gave
That
you
is
like
nuts.
I gave you so many gifts at our place, and then I gave you more gifts in front of your parents.
Oh yeah, you got me workout stuff too.
Yep. I got you like so much clothes, so much pink clothes that year.
Wow, were you love bombing me?
I was, I think. Yeah. I was.
Red flag.
Maybe. Oh my God, the truth comes out. Didn't like the pencil skirt. You had no work clothes. I was trying to get you work stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that out myself. I went into the store. I was like, hey, she has to start work.
Did you tell them my age?
It was
That I'm not 45.
It was one of those fancier stores, you know?
Yeah, I remember.
That was just the style of that store. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I would be pissed in this situation, though.
Oh yeah.
I would be so mad. Be so mad that you didn't know my real name.
Yeah, come on.
What's my middle name?
George. What's mine?
Fuck, that was so fast. You don't have one. Let's make your middle name George.
What?
George out the jungle, strong as he can be.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, we should watch George in the Jungle.
Why the
All right, back to you.
Okay. My husband, 29 male, messaged my ex for nudes of me, 29 female. Is this effed up?
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm gonna say it right now. Yes.
Right. How messed up is this? I will say we have lightly played around with jealousy kinks. I just think it's crazy he took it this far. I broke up with my emotionally abusive ex 9 years ago. We've had no contact and my husband knows that. There is no trust issues. I had explained to my husband that my ex still had photos of his ex at the time when the ex and I were dating, a small issue of the emotionally abusive relationship I was in. So I could understand if he thought that my ex still had nudes of me. We joked about him messaging my ex for pics, but I didn't think he'd actually do it. He said he was feeling frisky and it was a bad decision he made out of horniness. He's sorry, but genuinely doesn't understand why I'm flipping the fuck out. He's trying to see it from my perspective, but if the roles were reversed, he said he wouldn't mind as much. My ex messaged me letting me know what my husband said and that it's inappropriate. I feel so embarrassed that the ex that mistreated me has like the upper hand now. Husband and I are in a committed, loving relationship, together for 5 years, married for 2, and I am pregnant 4 months. Why does this feel like such a huge violation? Here's a message he sent. Quote, "Hey, how you doing? I know this is weird and completely random, but you used to date my wife. She told me you guys took some sexy videos and pictures. Do you happen to still have those?" Just to clarify, my husband does already have intimate photos of me on his phone that are between me and him.
That's fucking weird. That's weird. That's so fucking icky.
I think this is... I don't know why this is popping in my head, but I feel like this is the most unique experience ever. I don't think anybody else in the world has ever done this. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of do.
Like other stories
could
that
not imagine.
I'm like, okay, maybe a few people have done this. Like,
Yeah.
but this
has to be the first one.
I think,
I'm so shocked.
Can you imagine? I was actually like jaw on the ground when I read this. Can you imagine like me messaging your ex
7 years later? Do you have nudes of, oh my God, that'd be so fucking weird.
Oh my God. And to like top it all off, like it ended badly because he was emotionally abusive.
Or like, yeah, right? Just cherry on top. But
it
like,
wasn't just like a...
That'd be like my ex's boyfriend currently messaging me, being like, yo, you still have nudes.
That's fucked.
Fucking weird, dude. No, I do not. But fucking weird, dude.
Thank you for clarifying that. Top comment. In 1,000 lifetimes, it would never even cross my mind to do what your husband did. What the hell? It can't be the first weird, freaky thing he's ever done.
Right? Can't be the first thing. And like jealousy kinks? What the hell's a jealousy kink?
I don't know how that's a kink. I sometimes am a little concerned when you don't get jealous. I'm like, what the hell? Because I am jealous. So when you don't get jealous, I'm like, you're weird. But as a kink, like, what does that even look like?
I don't know. So weird.
Could not imagine. Just nothing to say.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know.
How do you move forward from that? How's it a fucking kink? Why are people labeling everything as kinks?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man. I mean, on the flip side, like, what if you worried that they did have them and you're just trying to, like, see if they did, if you need to worry? But I feel like there's nothing you can do at that point. Either they have them or you don't, and you telling them now, 7 years later, to delete them ain't going to change shit.
But the way he worded it, though, didn't seem like that. It seemed like he was doing it for, like, pleasure.
But he doesn't actually explicitly say that, which I think is the one saving fucking grace in this story, is he doesn't say, like, he just says, hey, how are you doing? I know this is weird and completely random, but you used to date my wife. She told me that you guys took sexy pictures and videos. Do you still happen to have those? That question could just be a fishing question to see if we need to be worried about you having explicit pics. I think it's a terrible idea because, listen, if nothing's surfaced now, the chances of them surfacing are likely.
10 years later,
the chances of them surfacing after you sent this unprompted message just spike 1,000%. You're like, oh yeah, I do still have those. Let me post those somewhere. Versus like, oh, I completely forgot. It might have auto-deleted from my phone. Doesn't say, hey, can you send me some pics so I can jerk off?
Yeah.
I want to wank it. So can you give me some pics of my ex when she was 7 years ago? So it's weird, but if that's the exact message, could frame it.
Kind of open-ended.
It's not framed terribly. I would be even more livid if he like put something in there like, want to enjoy those pictures.
Like a smirk or something.
Yeah. Like I want the reason I want them because I am enjoying them. I'm not just trying to figure out if you have photos that you need to delete.
Yeah.
But also, the question maybe should have been, hey, can you make sure you delete them?
Yeah.
But also, like, just FYI, if it's 7 years later, you are accomplishing nothing. If you ever have this idea to message your current partner's ex to make sure that they delete the photos, that's a bad idea. That's only going to piss someone off and make them tempted to abuse any said photos that they have. You're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
If you want that shit gone, you better Inspector Gadget that shit and break into their house when they're not home and figure out their fingerprint and delete that shit yourself because you got no hope of asking somebody to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to me. Am I the bad apple for refusing to make my brother a grief lasagna because I was on a date? I, 26 female, have a brother, Sam, 28 male, who just went through a rough breakup. Like his girlfriend took the dog, the Instapot, and his dignity. That kind of breakup. I feel for him truly, but also, I have a life. So here's what went down. Last Saturday night, I was on a date. Not just any date. This was date number 3 with a guy who didn't say, quote, let's circle back, or crypto in the first 10 minutes, which in my dating life is basically the holy grail. We're mid-sushi when I get a barrage of texts from Sam. The gist? Dude, I need your grief lasagna, like now. Emergency. Let me pause. Grief lasagna is something I made once when our cat died. It's literally just lasagna, but I layered it with love, cheese, and enough emotional support that now he thinks it has healing properties.
Stop it.
He calls it, quote, therapy with ricotta.
Thank you for trying to pronounce it properly.
I texted back something supportive like, quote, I'm on a date, but I'll make you lasagna tomorrow. And I thought that was that. Nope. He proceeded to call me 3 times, sends a crying selfie, and drops a passive-aggressive, guess I know who I can count on text. All because I wouldn't bail on a promising date to go full Garfield chef mode. After the date, which, by the way, went great until my phone sounded like a nuclear alarm, I checked my phone again, and I got a message from our mother saying, quote, you know he's sensitive. He just needs comfort food. You could have been there for him. Ma'am, he is 28. Mm-hmm. He has DoorDash. Yep. He has hands. He knows how to preheat an oven. I made the lasagna the next day, but now he's being weird and passive-aggressive, and my mom told my aunt, who now thinks that I abandoned him in the time of emotional need, and I'm getting side-eyed at family brunch like I stole a kidney. So Reddit, am I the bad apple for not dropping everything to make my grown brother a pan of grief carbs?
What the actual is happening? What is happening? What is happening? This is what happens when you raise a mama's boy. This is quite literally what happens. Your mom is enabling this behavior and is also codependent. This is what happens. This is the future for the kid
12-year-old.
Of the 12-year-old. Yeah. This is their future because
calls the sister. Honey, you need to make your brother that lasagna.
Why can't you do it?
Nobody cares about your love life.
I cannot believe the entitlement to just think that you would drop everything in your life to go make this man a fucking lasagna.
Yeah, top comment. Tell him you'll make him a lasagna to celebrate when he grows up. Sheesh.
For real. Yes, grow up lasagna.
Maybe gift a pack of adult diapers to the brother since he's really committed to the whole man baby thing.
I love that.
So an update comes in a few hours later. Thanks for all the comments, laughs, and mild judgment. Y'all really came through. Since this happened last week, I already have an update, so thought I might as well share since we have so many lovely comments. I ended up talking to Sam. He admitted he overreacted, but said the lasagna just comforts him.
I don't care.
Like, emotionally. I guess I accidentally created a cheesy trauma support system. I told him I love him, but I'm not dropping a good third date to play barefoot Contessa every time he gets dumped. We're cool now. I brought him a fresh lasagna the next day, and he texted, this slaps. I forgive you.
What do you mean? I forgive you.
Brothers. As for the date, yes, Evan, the date guy, is still around. When I explained the whole grief lasagna meltdown situation, he laughed and said, that's honestly adorable in a weird way.
What?
He even asked to try it, so I might be cooking it again soon, but like on purpose this time. Maybe for our next date. And for those curious, here is the not so magic recipe.
I'm sorry. I cannot go past this. I forgive you. And then also this boyfriend, the guy saying that's honestly adorable.
There's also a note at the end of the recipe for eating instructions. Eat when sad or hungry or when your brother acts like you abandoned him in the middle of an emotional tornado. Anyway, thanks for validating I am not a monster. Just a woman who wanted one single date without a pasta-based breakdown.
Bro, I'm even more mad now than...
It's kind of cute.
No. What is cute about that?
I don't know, your brother begging you for lasagna for like emotional support. It's a little weird.
Really?
It's
really expecting you to literally drop everything to go and be his emotional support.
Yeah, I think the excessiveness of how badly he wanted the pasta and wanted you to drop everything right now is not good. But, you know,
that's the whole issue.
Yeah.
That is quite literally the whole issue.
Yeah. It's still a little adorable, but in a weird way.
Literally not at all. Literally not at all in my head.
Oh, I could just see it a little bit.
Top comment, I forgive you. Fuck off. It should be her forgiving him for being a petulant man-child. I can see why his ex left. Period.
I do agree with that.
What do you mean I forgive you?
Right?
Bro, that would set me off.
No, I mean, that text would set me off too.
That's what I just said.
No, I'm agreeing with the date, what the date guy said, not what the brother's text said.
Well, I brought up both. I said I forgive you and this is adorable.
Well, I would be like, you forgive me, fuck you, buddy. You're not getting another pasta again.
Bro, I wouldn't even if he was joking, I'd be livid.
I guess he was probably joking.
I don't care.
I don't know. Maybe sibling relationship sarcasm could be forgivable. Maybe it seems more worse on the outside than it really is.
Should we be posting this lasagna?
I mean, if you want it, the link's down below. All right, back to you.
Okie dokes. Am I overreacting for banning my son's friend from any more playdates after I had to help him wipe? For some context, my youngest is 6 years old. He's potty trained and I've always taught him and my other kids when they were younger how to wipe and take care of toilet time themselves. All of my kids knew how to use the bathroom properly by age 4. Accidents did still happen, but that's just standard. My son recently made a new friend, also 6, at his school. He seems to be a new addition in his class as my son tells me he's not been there before and I've also not seen the child before up until a few weeks ago. Yesterday at pickup, my son and his new friend run up to me to ask if he can come over for dinner. I'm a firm believer in meeting the parents first to discuss anything important like allergies, health issues, and also just because it should be the standard to at least know a little bit about the parents. Before I could actually get a yes or a no out, the boy's mom comes over and says she'll pick him up at 7. This put me on the spot, so I said that's fine, even though it felt a little weird that she didn't seem concerned about who her child was going off with. We exchanged numbers, and I took the boys back to ours. About an hour in, I hear my son's friend calling for some help while he was in the bathroom. He told me he's done his poo and needs me to wipe. Honestly, I was taken aback because my own son knows how to do this, and I wasn't made aware by the boy's mom that he didn't know how to wipe yet. I also just felt uncomfortable with it, since I wouldn't want a stranger wiping my child, so I didn't want to be doing that to someone else's child who I hardly even know. It just felt morally wrong to be doing this without explicit permission from a parent. I tried to talk him through it with the door closed, which took a while, but finally it all seemed fine and he came out. 7 p.m. rolls around and finally his mom comes to pick him up. I explained the situation to her as nice as possible and said that respectfully, until her son knows how to wipe himself, he shouldn't be going to play dates and that until then, he can no longer come over. She didn't say anything and left pretty abruptly. Later on, I get a message from her saying, I was wrong to not have helped as now he had poop all over his backside, which is why I should have helped. I explained again that I wasn't comfortable doing that with someone else's child, especially when I wasn't notified about it beforehand. She called me petty and cruel for leaving him like that and said I was massively overreacting. I feel bad for leaving the child like that, although I didn't know he was covered in poo and definitely wasn't going to check if he had wiped properly. But I also feel as though my reasoning was valid.
Man, that's weird. Oh my, 6 years old, like 2 years past, like wiping time, and you just like,
what does he do at school?
Right? And you just let him, as a parent, you're just like, yeah, peace, buddy. Like
and
with no pre-warning.
No warning.
Like, that's a significant thing.
That is a significant thing. You should most definitely be telling the other parents if this is, if you're aware of it, which I'm sure you are, obviously, you should be telling other people.
Right?
This is not, that's disrespectful.
It's disgusting.
It is a little bit, I don't think I would be able to handle it myself, but.
I would definitely be like trying to walk the kid through it on the other side of the door.
That's what she did.
And then I'd be like, okay, now you wipe again. Do you see any brown on it? Yes? Okay. Now you wipe again and you check.
Yeah.
See any brown on it? Yes?
But also
rinse and repeat.
Come on. I should not have to be doing that.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely an error on the mom.
How all over his backside? Like, how was that up past his pants? Because I would just, be like, all right, did you get anything on your back? Maybe like, but like, really, are you going to think, oh, wiping it went all the way up past his jean lines? Where you're like, hey, just lift up the back of your shirt. You want to make sure there's no poop at the top of your pants? I don't think I would even be asking that. You would think, okay, wipe it until you don't see anything.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, I don't see anything. All right, you're good to go, bud. It's fucking weird.
I think it's definitely appropriate that she was like, until he can wipe his own ass, he's not coming here.
Absolutely.
And come on, you should have told me. You should have warned me. This is so inappropriate.
You already did a red flag when like you didn't even care to like meet me
Yeah.
or anything, and you're just sending your son off with me. It's like you knew you were just pawning him off on me.
And you didn't even ask me. You didn't even let me say yes or no.
Yeah,
He came up and was like, I'm coming over.
exactly.
And the mom is like, I'll pick him up at 7.
I would have immediately been like, no.
Yeah.
I would have come up with some excuse. No, we have this to do tonight, but I'm happy to plan something in the future. I'm not being taken off guard on the spot like that.
Exactly.
I don't care if I'm seen like I'm
not
rude.
succumbing to peer pressure
yeah,
like that.
Yeah. I'm saying no. But we can arrange a time. I'm not being unprepared for this.
Yeah.
I don't know you. Be a little psycho I let in my house.
Yeah, exactly. Top comment. Not overreacting. I would not be comfortable doing this for a child this day and age, nor would I ever ask another person to do this for my child without first warning them and finding out if it's an issue. If the child has a disability, that is another issue, but I have never known for the parents to be so blasé about it. Most parents with disabled children will make sure anyone watching them gets a full rundown on what to do. I still can't get over letting the kid go to your place without talking with you more. That's something I haven't seen or heard of since the 80s or 90s.
Right? Yeah. That's like the old school mentality of
Just trusting everybody.
everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine.
There are a couple edits. I want to add some details since there's a lot of assumptions. 1. I didn't intentionally leave him with poop on his backside. He told me he was done and I wasn't about to check if that was the truth. 2. No one was humiliated. The boys were still playing when mom came to pick him up, and I quietly told her what had happened. The boy did not hear, and my son also wasn't aware of the situation. 3. They are still friends at school, so none of them have lost a friend. I simply do not want the other boy to be at my house until he can wipe, and for obvious reasons, my son won't be going to his house, and they both seem happy with that. 4. If it was my husband who had been asked to wipe the boy, would he be expected to as well? I have a feeling if I was a man in this situation, no one would have wanted me to help wipe the child. And I think that's so valid. Another edit. I've just got back from school pickup and another mom called me over while I was in the car park and asked how the playdate went. I didn't share the full story, but the first thing she asked me was if there was any toilet issues. I didn't want to make light of the situation, so I said no, but she told me that before half term, the same boy had been to their home and had the exact same issue I did. She told me her son went into the bathroom with him to demonstrate and checked he was fine, so this isn't the first time that this has happened, and obviously the mom is very aware. I didn't mention it and said it was all fine because I don't want that information being shared, but clearly it's an issue that needs addressing, and I was not a one-off case.
She like gatekept the secret from the other mom. Like I feel like I didn't want it to spread around, but it's like you're almost kind of being rude for not like confirming,
Validating her.
Yeah, you unvalidated her. You're like, oh no, everything was good with me, and she's like, why the fuck did it happen to me then? When you could have been like, oh yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but I had an issue at my house too. Like,
I think you could have said something.
I think it's only fair to like validate that mom being like, she wants to know like, hey, was this a one-off for me?
Yeah.
Or is he been doing this every single time?
Yeah.
It sounds like hung out at her house first. This has already been an issue. What if the mom who drops the kid off has done nothing wrong? She has trained her kid to wipe himself, and the kid knows how to wipe himself, and he gets off on asking the other parents.
6 years old.
He thinks it's funny to ask other people to help him.
I highly doubt that. The mom wouldn't have reacted like that.
True. Because I'm just thinking here, I'm like, okay.
She would have been like, what are you talking about?
Okay, but it sounds like this parent went through this first.
Yeah.
And then the kid went in and helped him wipe, and he learned how to wipe. And then when he went to her house, he still said, I need help and stuff. He learned how to do it, and now he still needs help.
That was probably months ago.
And he's never had a wipe since?
Yeah, because at home his mom wipes his ass.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just thinking, like, you know, what if, like, the mom did nothing wrong and the child just, every time he goes somewhere new, he asks for help?
I don't think so. I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
Most 6-year-olds, I feel like,
Too far
are
out there?
that...
Too far out there?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
Back to me.
you.
So it's going from, am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? I found out my husband slept with his brother's wife. I recently found out that before I met my husband, that he slept with his brother's wife while they were married. And they are still married. My husband dated his brother's wife for a short time before she met and fell in love with his brother. I also just found that out. After the brother got married to her, they ended up having issues in their marriage. While that was going on, she started to have an affair with my husband, who at the time was not my husband. We hadn't even met yet. But not only that, but for months they would text each other claiming to be in love. She ended up stopping the affair and just stuck with her husband. I found out because my husband, for some reason, had screenshots of their conversations and even a video saved in an old Google account. My husband's brother has no clue about this. I was so sick to my stomach after finding this out. I'm still sick over seeing how unloyal my husband was to his own brother. I confronted the sister-in-law because I thought she was my friend, and when I asked her years ago if her and my husband ever had anything going on in the past, she swore they never did.
Wow.
She swore that even before meeting his brother, they never had anything going on. Now that I know she lied, and not only lied, but when she was having issues with her husband, she ran to his brother and was having an affair with him and claimed at the time to be in love with him. I also confronted my husband on what I know and told him I want nothing to do with her in our life any longer because I don't trust that something won't ever happen again between them. We have children, so I can't just up and leave over this. If we didn't have kids together, I would have left ASAP. Am I overreacting by not wanting the sister-in-law to be part of our lives any longer? I don't trust her at all any longer. She was always super close to my husband, and I always kind of thought it was weird. She knew a lot of personal stuff that she said he shared with her, things he never shared with me, and we're married with kids.
Wow.
I always found the relationship weird.
That hurts. That is a gut punch. Okay, yes, I understand you have kids with him, and yes, I think you should definitely cut off the sister-in-law, but the core issue here is the husband. Guess what? He can find someone else.
Like, you just found out how your husband's moral compass actually is wired.
Yeah.
Are you still attracted to him the same way?
Yeah. If he can flip a switch on his brother like this, like, he can do it to you. He grew up with his brother. Like,
that is like...
You know what I mean? Like, he grew up with his brother. Like,
it's not just cheating.
Subjectively, that could be a stronger relationship that you have with somebody. Like,
you cheated on your sibling in a way.
Yeah. What's to say he's not going to do this to you and break your trust?
Once a cheater, always a cheater?
Well, he didn't really cheat.
On his brother, he kind of did.
I guess,
up.
yeah.
You could emotionally
He
cheated.
betrayed. He betrayed his brother.
Betrayed, yeah.
He can easily betray you.
Exactly.
Like, he can find someone else. I don't know. I think I understand blaming the sister-in-law. She lied to you. You thought she was your friend. This is also just like sick weirdo behavior.
Yeah.
But also, like, yes, I think you should be also pointing the fingers back to your husband. Because,
most of all.
Because what is this? This is a huge reveal of his character.
Huge.
Yeah.
This is ground shaking.
Yeah.
Top comment. I'm curious about how your husband reacted when you confronted him. And OP replies and says, he tried to deny it for a second, but once I said he needs to come clean because I know, he then did come clean. We talked about it in a calm conversation. He actually said he was glad the secret was out.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting him to get upset and start a big argument over it, but he didn't. Even after I told him I was going to confront his sister-in-law, he was calm about it. He said if I feel I need to do that, then I should. She was actually a little confrontational when I confronted her. She even tried to reach out to my husband to ask what I know, and he ignored her and told me right away. His sister-in-law then told his brother part of what I confronted her about. Told him I told her I knew about my husband and her dating before she married his brother, and that was why I don't trust her. She left out the biggest reason I don't trust her. My husband's brother reached out upset at me. My husband told his brother to call him and he would tell him more of the story. My husband said he doesn't care if his brother finds out anymore and that he is tired of having the secret.
Damn. The brother should definitely find out. I think OP would probably push for that. Seems like she maybe has like some, I don't know. It seems like she would probably want that. But it will come out.
Yeah.
other people know now besides them. So
Someone says to that, I mean, the guy sounds genuinely glad he doesn't have to carry that. Sounds like he wants nothing to do with her as well. And OP replies and says, I believe that. But then someone says, but I'm genuinely curious if he explained why he kept the trophies from his affair. Did you ask? Because Tex I can understand in case she tried to blow his life up or place all the blame on him. The video, which I am assuming was sex, why keep that unless you're rewatching it to relive it?
ooh,
OP replies and says, he says he didn't know he still had that stuff. There was also more than most of their stuff in the Google account. He could be telling the truth because he has not backed up any of his stuff from his phone in a long time. Or he could be lying. That I can't prove.
that is a little bit weird. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, it could be
Could be he didn't even know.
just forgot.
Right?
I wish you could see like when the last time you viewed something was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you got a tech expert in there, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Decode that shit.
Yeah, get in there. All right. Back to you.
Alrighty. My best friend married the dumbest woman I have ever met, and it's ruined our friendship. This is coming from r/vent. They've been together since they were in high school, and I'm convinced he never thought he could do better, so he just dealt with it. He became a doctor, and they have 2 kids, and she makes all the decisions about their care. She doesn't want them to go to school because she doesn't trust what they teach them. She's homeschooling them, even though she failed her teaching certification 3 times and gave up on that career. Their kids have no vaccines. When I asked my best friend why, he admitted he just didn't want to have to fight his wife even though he's vaccinated and a professional in the medical field. I lost most of my respect for him. It makes me really sad. We've known each other since middle school, and dude is a shell of the super intelligent, ambitious guy he was. I told him I couldn't trust them to be godparents to my daughter since we fundamentally disagreed with how they were raising their kids. 20 plus years of friendship is pretty much gone now. His wife was in education, and I say was because she was fired from multiple jobs as a teacher for poor performance. Last job demoted her twice from teacher to aide to library assistant before they let her go. She never got her teaching license, which was part of the reason she got demoted. She couldn't pass the certification exams no matter how often she took them. The last count was at 3 before she gave up on the profession. They weren't always like this in our early 20s. She was big into fashion and cosmetics, competed in a few local pageants. She went into teaching because her mom was a teacher. They moved to a semi-rural area and she became super devout. This was new because they were never like this, but whatever. That's when the homeschooling started, along with the anti-science/anti-vaccines. Autism runs on his side of the family. His brother is high-functioning and highly skilled in robotics. Her sister has an autistic child, blames vaccines, even though autism also runs on her husband's side of the family. They were our daughter's godparents, which would have made them legal guardians if anything were to happen to us. I couldn't in good conscience keep them as guardians because if he won't advocate for his kids knowing what he knows, he won't advocate for mine.
Yo, how can you be a
medical
doctor,
professional,
be a doctor, and even though you know it's better to vaccinate your kids, you're like, I didn't want to argue with my wife.
That's so crazy.
That's the weirdest behavior I've ever seen.
That is the most complicit you can be.
That's crazy. That's the weirdest behavior.
You're a coward. You are a coward. I would argue this is like nearing abuse to your kids because...
It's more like neglect.
Yeah. Sorry. Neglect. Yeah. I feel like those words can be... Maybe neglect is a better word.
Yes.
But yeah, this is like something you know best. You are literally a professional and you are choosing to abstain from that. That is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
OP is 100% valid for revoking the godparent title.
Absolutely.
Would never in a million years, if we ever had kids, think to give them to anti-vaxxers or anybody who thought like this. Like homeschooling because she doesn't trust what they teach. And I just don't understand how 2 people can be so fundamentally different and marry each other.
Yeah.
That will never.
But they can't be that fundamentally different.
Well,
they did
he's
marry
a
each other.
doctor.
Yeah, exactly. So they can't be that.
It seems as so.
Just because he's a doctor doesn't mean he's smart. I don't know.
Well, okay, this person is saying they were friends for 20 years. He was never like this before.
I don't know.
You think maybe she changed him? I mean, it is possible. Like, he also believes that, but he spent so much time in school being a doctor and stuff, and he just kind of has to do that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the comments says, your friend is a doctor, yet he married someone who doesn't believe in vaccines. And then someone else says, given she used to compete in beauty pageants, it's fair to bet that he married her simply because she was hot. Now he's paying for marrying for looks, but not considering the brains, too.
I have no sympathy for him. This is all you're doing, bro. This is...
I mean,
you had a choice.
It's more like a vent. It's not like the doctor is sad that he's no longer the godparent, but... Or like arguing against it. It's more like this dude is just pissed because he just watched all this happen. This guy
ruin his life.
Maybe the guy is happy in his bliss.
To each their own.
Yeah.
Top comment says, hate to tell you, but your best friend is also dumb. He made the decision to marry her, and he's made the decision to stay with her. He is a doctor who would rather roll over and play dead than fight for his kids' education and health.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh my God, one of the next comments. Plot twist. The doctor is a chiropractor.
I don't want to offend anybody with that.
A veterinarian chiropractor. This got a good guaf out of me.
Guaf?
Goofa. I don't know.
Goofa. I don't get that.
I don't get it either.
Alrighty. Back to you.
Okay. Am I the asshole for being furious that my husband and his mother hid that she lost her pension to a scam and now expects me to financially support her?
Ooh.
So my mother-in-law, mid-50s, has always been a bit much. She's a lifelong hypochondriac, constantly convinced she's dying, despite doctors telling her she's fine. Over the years, she's learned to smile and nod while she goes on about her spells and energies. But recently, things went off the rails. She started seeing a soothsayer who convinced her that her workplace was full of dark energy, draining her life force. She was advised to resign immediately and devote herself to healing. Against all logic, she quit her stable job, cashed out her pension. Turns out, a few months ago, she met another soothsayer who told her her life force was being drained by bad energy, and that only by a cleansing ritual, Furphy, could save her. Long story short, she gave away nearly all her entire pension and savings to the scam artist. Did not tell anyone while going through her, quote, cleansing. But here's the kicker. My husband knew. She told him, swore him to secrecy, and he agreed because, quote, she was embarrassed. Months ago he knew, and he said nothing. He claims he didn't want to stress me out and that his mom was just going through something. Fast forward to now, she's broke, has no savings, no income, and is suddenly turning to us, well, me, for help. Groceries, medication, rent, everything. And when I found out, only because she confessed when she had no money left. I absolutely lost it. I told my husband it's insane that he kept this from me and that I feel like I've been blindsided into being responsible for someone else's mess. He says that I'm being heartless and it's not her fault. She was manipulated. But I say she's a grown adult who made a choice and hid it while expecting us to clean up. So now I'm scrambling to keep our own household afloat and make sure she's not starving, all because of a decision I had zero say in. Am I the asshole?
I think it's a little bit ironic that you put this one in here.
Why?
You know why. You got scammed.
Oh. That's not why I put that. But call me out. Fuck.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, but you feel free. You're the one who wanted to bring it up.
I just think, well, you probably put this in here because you think that the mom is a weirdo. Is that... Is that not what you're saying?
The soothsayer stuff was weird to me.
Okay. I see you trying to backtrack now. But anyways, Denver did get scammed. You were in a vulnerable place. You had just lost your job.
I was more aware that I was getting scammed while I was getting scammed, though. And I decided that it was okay to take the risk. I will reiterate that point.
I don't remember a point like that.
I do.
But
I was willing to gamble it to see if it was real or not,
okay.
because it was a very convincing scam.
Not for me. I knew all along and I tried telling you, but whatever. I couldn't.
Sorry.
You want to get into it?
We'll get into it at the end.
Okay.
Well, if you guys want to know, we'll do that in the life updates because I got no life updates for you. So we'll put that for life updates. So stick around to the end and I'll talk about how I got scammed.
I actually do. Okay. Being a hypochondriac myself, you guys know, I do feel like when you are in that state of like constantly thinking that something is wrong with you and you just like have anxiety 24/7, like you feel like you're going to die, you feel like
You can't put a price on your health?
I feel like you are desperate to try anything.
Mm.
So like I was in a place like a couple years ago with like my heart and I have SVT and I was getting like severe anxiety to the point where I could not leave the house. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, like that's when I started my therapy and like my homework for therapy was to literally walk around the condo building. Like literally just get outside and walk like 3 minutes to go like walk around the condo building because I couldn't even do that. So it is, and obviously like I'm much better now because therapy did help, but I like all of us say, I'm trying to say that I can kind of understand and I do have pity for her a little bit because anxiety and like mental health issues, they can really fuck with you and kind of like skew reality.
Yeah.
So I definitely, okay, yeah, I could see both issues. Like I can understand how she ended up there. I can also understand OP being upset that this is now the burden that has fell upon her. Because that is not fair. You didn't choose that. Now someone else's poor decisions are affecting your life and everything that you worked for, and your paycheck is now going to support your mother-in-law, and that is not fair. I could definitely understand the resentment that's coming out of this. This one's tough.
It is tough.
It is tough. Definitely not the asshole. I don't think you're an asshole to like not want to support her.
Right.
But yeah, I could see it from both sides.
So, top comment, not the asshole. Honestly, to me, this is divorce worthy. Your husband committed financial infidelity and now expects you to pay for it. If I were in your place, I'd be contacting a lawyer and looking for a way to get out of this marriage ASAP. Otherwise, you'll have his mother to take care of while you're breaking your back to support her. Fuck that. OP replies and says, I'm really considering it, but I feel like they will say I left because she needs support.
Yeah. No.
Also, she's 50. Like, she quit her job.
Yeah.
She can still go back to work.
Yeah, she can. Yeah, she can.
Why am I supporting you like you retired?
Yeah.
Like, you can go back to work.
That is true. Yeah. I wonder if she's trying. Like, there's no mention of that. But yeah,
she better be.
She can definitely be going back to work.
Absolutely better be. That would be a must in my book.
Yeah. Like, unfortunately, when you make bad decisions, like, you have to take responsibility for that. Take accountability and fix it yourself. Like, okay, everybody makes mistakes. Some not proud about, but you have to take the steps to fix it. You cannot rely upon your family to fix it for you.
No, exactly.
And also, yeah, I didn't even touch on the husband keeping this from the wife because, yeah, this is financial infidelity. This is like he was keeping this from her and now it is directly affecting OP.
Exactly.
I would also not be able to forgive that because one, like your trust is broken. Two, like now I'm resentful towards you because you put me here and it is kind of your fault.
Exactly.
That's rough.
Absolutely rough. All right. Back to you.
All right.
We'll do one more.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to shamefully admit how I got scammed.
All right. Me with my roommates, 3 months. They told me I'm not allowed guests to stay overnight, mostly men. I've, 22 female, been living with my roommates, 20s male, for 3 months now. I knew them for about a year before moving in, and I thought they were pretty cool, but I don't know now. They've known each other for years, since high school. Anyway, in the first month, I brought someone home from town, and he ended up staying the night. One of my roommates saw him leave in the morning and told the other, and they kind of gave me shit for a while. but eventually they got over it, or so I thought. The next time I had a friend, a girl, stay over at night and we watched movies. I asked if I could have her over and they both said that's fine, but complained afterwards that we had made too much noise and that they didn't want that friend over again, night or day, because she laughed too loudly. She does, but banning someone from the house because of laughing? I said fine, whatever, and we've done movie nights at her place since. I've recently been seeing this guy, though, for about a month, and he stayed over 3 times since then. The first night, they thought it was a one-night stand thing again and gave me shit. Second night, they kind of seemed annoyed, and one said that we had been using the bathroom too much. His room is right next to it. I didn't think we had, but I said okay, and they didn't say I couldn't bring him over again. Third night, they told me he wasn't allowed over again because it was their space and he used the bathroom too much, and they could hear us having sex all night. We had sex once, and it was in the morning, so I don't really know what they were hearing. Also, he only used the bathroom once, and I told him to be really quiet, and he was. But they said they don't want me bringing people over anymore and that I can go to the person's house if I'm going to keep doing it. I can get it if it was for safety, like if I was bringing home random guys into the house, but for friends and a guy I've been seeing? There is another flatmate, a girl, who is always at her boyfriend's, but she was there one night and said she didn't hear anything, and she is right next to my room, so I think they might be making shit up. They bring guys over and play Xbox till 3 in the morning and their friends pass out on the couch. I'm getting pretty annoyed with all the hypocrisy. I would move, but I can't afford to move out right now or live on my own. But are they being reasonable? Am I being a bad roommate? I was way worse with my other flat. Brought home guys all the time and no one ever complained. How can I go about making them more okay with me having people over? Or do I just have to deal with it?
I don't know. I think they're just jealous and definitely hypocrisy. But yeah, I mean, you just deal it. If you can't afford to move out and live, like unless it explicitly says in your lease contract that you're not allowed to have visitors, then no, nothing they can do.
Wait, do you think that she should still bring people over? Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay.
Do what you want to do. It's your room, your place.
I would agree. Yeah.
Can't stop you.
Yeah, exactly. One of the comments says, you haven't really given enough info to say for sure, but I'm going to guess that it's jealousy. They just gave you shit at first because that's what guys do when they're madly jealous sometimes. I've felt for a long time that slut shaming is often rooted in jealousy, but then you started bringing the same guy around, so they ramped it up. Obviously, they don't follow their own rule, so you don't have to either. You could tell them that you'll stop having people over when they do, but that might start a feud of some sort. I would just tell them to mind their own business. I totally understand that confrontations like this are extremely uncomfortable, but if you want any chance of getting them to stop their bullshit, you'll have to persevere. Opie replied, I don't think it is jealousy. We knew each other beforehand, and neither of them have ever indicated any interest like that before. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it, and if they say anything, just point out that they bring people over and it's my place too. I wasn't sure if it was a standard thing since I've only lived with one other group of roommates.
Yeah, and I would still say it's probably jealousy.
Yeah.
Like, she's getting laid, they're not.
Yeah.
There's still can be jealousy there, even if they don't have like an attraction towards you.
That's a good point, actually.
There's absolutely still jealousy there.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Otherwise, what other reason would they have? She has proof from the other girl who was like, I was home and I didn't hear a thing.
Exactly.
They used the washroom once.
Exactly.
What do you mean? What do you mean he used the washroom too much?
Cool.
That's so fucking weird to say.
I didn't know there's a limit on the washroom.
Are you the washroom police? Like, what do you mean? And he used it once.
Yep.
Oh my God. So there's an update 2 weeks later. I honestly cannot believe how quickly things escalated, and I'm sorry for not updating sooner, but I've been ridiculously stressed and busy with what happened. So following the advice posted, I continued bringing over my now boyfriend and ignoring them if they bitched about it. Things came to a huge head last weekend, and I've spent the last week dealing with the fallout. Last Saturday, he came over and we were going to have an early night so we could do some hiking in the morning. Roommates were drinking with their friends, playing Xbox, making loads of noise, so I went out and asked if they could keep it down. I honestly thought they were fine. Me and him were able to sleep until about 4 a.m. when one of them burst into our room with a fucking baseball bat and started smashing shit.
What the fuck?
He was screaming things about how I had embarrassed him in front of his friends when I didn't have the decency to shut up, called me a slut and a whore. I thought he was going to kill me, but my boyfriend jumped up and started trying to restrain him. The other roommate ran in and started helping. My boyfriend got smacked in the nose and blood was running everywhere. I was on the phone with police by this point. They came and he was arrested. My boyfriend had to go to the hospital. Tim had a broken nose, and about $350 worth of damage was done to my belongings. The other roommate had not stopped apologizing to me nonstop about how he didn't realize that the crazy roommate was that bad, and he was just trying to back up an old friend, but he'd said my boyfriend is welcome anytime. Me and my boyfriend both have a restraining order against crazy roommate, and the police came with him as he moved out all of his shit, and we've gotten the locks changed. I'm still looking at moving out as soon as possible, and I'm staying most nights at my boyfriend's. I'm struggling to sleep because I'm sure someone is going to burst into the room. I can't believe I could misjudge someone so much.
Holy shit. That's fucking wild. How do you go from just being like, you can't stay here, I'm a baseball bat swinging, coming in at 4 a.m. in the room?
Also, like,
that's insane.
How did this happen? Because she said that they went to bed early and went out to their room and said, can you keep it down?
Okay.
And then they went to bed.
Yeah.
As she said, she thought everything was fine. They got some sleep until 4 a.m.
The dude didn't go to sleep.
Hours later.
Yeah, he's stewing on it for hours.
Yeah.
Drinking and drinking and drinking, stewing on it, and then just crashed it over at 4 a.m.
That's crazy.
Oh, finally worked up the courage to do something about it.
That is a true psychopath.
That is. That's insane.
Because usually, like, people react out of, like...
Immediacy.
Yeah, what's it called? When you're just, like...
Immediately.
I don't know if there's a word. Out of just anger, and usually hours later, like, you calm down.
Yeah,
But this guy, it was brewing, like you said.
Brewing.
That is... I'm so happy that your boyfriend was there to kind of, like, calm the situation down and restrain him, because what would have happened if you were just by yourself and was like...
Right?
Hey, I have an exam tomorrow morning.
That's the
Can
risk.
you keep it down?
The risk that you take with roommates. I think it was a jealousy thing. I absolutely
100% think so too.
I bet you she didn't realize it, but he did try to hit on her at one point, and then he felt like she shut him down. I feel like.
Yeah.
Fuck, psychopath.
Top comment says he was 110% into her in addition to being in that job.
Exactly. No, absolutely.
Craziness. Oh my God.
Oh man. All right. That's it. I think got a couple left over that we'll have to read on our Patreon. Normally I would say, Teresa, what do you get on Patreon? But the last couple times she's really screwed the pooch on it.
Oh, wow.
Bonus episodes on Patreon, guys.
Our next Patreon will be 1 year.
1 year. It's coming up on Friday for you guys.
That's kind of
we're going to have to find some special ones or something for that. I don't know. We're going to have to do something, but can't believe we've been on Patreon for 1 year now. We appreciate all of you guys' support. There's Spotify as well as videos for those bonus episodes. If you want to support us, we appreciate it. If you just want more Reddit stories, just come on there. You can binge through them. 51, 52 episodes you'll be able to binge through. That'll keep you busy for a long time. But either way, we appreciate you guys' support. And I've got a couple ones that'll be on Patreon, like Am I the Asshole? My dad crashed my car, or my parents won't let me use theirs. As well as Am I the Asshole for how I handled a prank my brother's fiance pulled on me, and my girlfriend doesn't want to have sex with me or even show me affection because I took jujitsu classes. So those will all be on our Patreon next week.
Nice.
Or Patreon on Friday.
I also have a couple left over. So should be a good time.
Hopefully.
Alrighty. I think they've been waiting long enough.
Okay, so right after I was let go from Porsche, I was looking for remote jobs. And I got a text message that said, you know, you signed up for remote job work. Are you available now? And I said yes. So it wasn't completely out of left field because I was actively searching for a job. So maybe if I wasn't, I would have been a little bit more on guard. Like, why are you offering me a job? I wasn't really applying for anywhere. I had applied to like 600 positions of like every source that I could find. So I thought this was someone reaching out from that. And then they're like, oh, let's take it to WhatsApp. We'll connect through WhatsApp. So they connected. And then they brought me to this website that it did have some red flags, like the easy process, the easy login. And then it was like music utilization. Like, you know, when music stars. I had heard that like music stars that like they pay for people to like listen to their songs so they can get top ranked on Spotify so they can make more money. They're like, this is what that is. It's music utilization. And you have to like click this button and rate the song 5 stars. And I was just like, it's oddly suspicious, but it kind of makes sense. I did the entire time I talked about it. I was very aware that it was sketchy. So you do this like utilization, they get you set up and you have to like do a certain amount. Like you have like a balance. It's like $100 and every time you verify a song, you earn like a little bit of commission. You earn like 50 cents or like $1 onto your balance. And then they had you take it and you moved it over to your crypto account. They didn't have me sign up. It was crypto sketchy. They didn't have me like sign up or anything. You had to already have your wallet. And the way that crypto works is like I already had my wallet. Once I send money, it's gone and there's no way you can get it back. And once you receive money, you have received it and there's no way they can take it away from you. So at the start of the process, they're like, okay, your training's done. Now you need to withdraw your account. So the very first transaction, they're not asking you to put money in, they're giving you money. So they're like, you need to put the money into your account. And they didn't make me create an account. I already had my own wallet. So I was like, oh, okay. So I withdraw it. So I'm like, this is weird, but I'm technically safe because I already have my secured wallet, which I set up, and they just gave me money for the training work that I did. And it seems to be the sketchy back end of the music industry. So I'm like, okay, so like, I don't know. I kind of heard rumors about this. People pay for their songs to get like promoted so that they get better. It's like kind of like running like YouTube ads on your YouTube video. So I was like, okay. So then they're like, okay, now you've reset your queue for the day. Now you need to send the $100 back and, you know, you earned 120, 150, and then you send $100 back and then you earn like $30-ish. Then you do that and you click utilize. But then the work you're actually doing is like what am I actually doing here? Because I am just kind of clicking like next. I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just clicking the mouse on the next, and then they are utilized. So they send you over and they have you do that for like 3 days in a row so that you get comfortable using the system. And they're like, okay, after your first week, you'll get a bonus of $500. Okay, so I go through the first week. There was at one point during the week where they're like, I tried to do it and it didn't work. And then they explained it that it tagged another one and it linked them. And this is a great opportunity to promote. They also at one point put me in a group chat with other people who were doing it. Yep. The group chat was like, this is weird. So
the group chat I feel like is a very important piece because
there all
was
positivity
like
in there. Yep.
And they were all just like chatting amongst themselves like, hey, I made this much today.
Finish my work for the day.
Finish my work.
Gonna go for a hike.
Yeah, it was, people were all sending like
different bubbles, sending pictures, like sending legit things like of like, yeah, their fucking pets and their hikes and like their computer and like I did my work for the day. And it was like, I was like, okay, it's odd, but like whatever. So at the one point they're like, okay, it's linked it. So now your account goes to like a negative balance because it needs more to push through the link. Because to do one song, it's like $90 and then you make a profit. But now it's linked 2. So it's like $150. And then that happened. My trainer was like, okay, I'll top up your account. Here you go. And that's how you do it. And you move on. I'm like, okay. So then I move on. And they get you to go through a whole week. So then I made like 30 to 50 US dollars per day for like 2 hours worth of work that was literally just click that I was doing in the background of editing the podcast. I was editing the podcast and doing click on a side screen and it was super easy to do. And it was like they, if you do 30 days straight, they give you like a $5,000 bonus and stuff. So it was like, I really wanted that because I wanted to do RV life. Teresa was applying for a new job. We were trying to get RV life figured out. Podcast wasn't making any income at that time. And I just lost my job. So I'm trying to like figure this out. So I'm banking. I've made like $500. It's successful. I'm telling Teresa, I'm telling my sister, I'm like, it's super sketchy.
I don't think you told Kat.
No, I did tell Kat.
Oh, you did?
And I told Kat, I'm like, it's super sketchy. But so far in my crypto account, I have made $500 US. So I'm like, they can't take this away from me. I get to the weekly bonus and they top up the account. And this is where the day that just goes downhill. So they top up the account for me. I put in $100, then they put in the $500. Now my account's at $600. Every time you do a song recognition, you're earning a larger commission. So instead of me earning like 50 cents every time I click yes, I'm earning like $5 per click. So the bank account racks up further. And then what happens? Boom, there's a link. It links them, and now they're like, oh, in order to withdraw, you need to get this. I mean, to sum it up shortly, I put in a little bit more money to do it. And then I thought like I'd be able to like withdraw. And they're like, no, you have to get through your set of 30. I'm like, fuck. So right at like 29 or like.
Yeah, it was the last one.
It was like, no, it was, I did that one and I didn't use any money because I just had money in my crypto account. So I just did that one. And then at like 15, it did it again. And I just did it for a whole week. And I'm like, hey, I went through it for a whole week. The most that it's ever happened before was one time. Okay, go through it. Lots of other like stressful stuff where I'm like, I think this is it. I think I'm getting scammed. I think this is where it is. This is where they pull the rug out for you. This is where it is. I should stop now. But it's been working for like a week so far. And I want it to work so desperately. Like, am I willing to risk it? I think it's a scam, but I think I'm willing to risk it. So I put in money and then we go and we get to like 27. I'm like, okay, at most, they said it could be 2 times at most. Like I need to put in more again. So then I had to transfer to my account into the crypto account and then over. And they said, okay, at the most it's 2 times. And then after this 30, I'll be able to withdraw it all. And then I'm set. And then 30th time, there's one more transaction to do for my set of 30. 29 was successful. So there should only be you can't link if there's only one more transaction, right? There can't be a link of 2 sets if you only have one more to do for your set of 30. And then what fucking happened at the set of 30? It's like you linked and now you need to deposit more money in order to withdraw it. And I just wasn't willing to put any more. Thank
God.
No, I do truly believe that if I had put it in that time, I would have got it out that time. But then if you try to go back, I don't truly believe it because I would have done it.
They would have ghosted you.
They could have just ghosted, or the scam would have continued because after you do it for 2 weeks, a month, they deposit larger amounts in, whatever. So there was a chance that like it could have, but I was like, that's it. I'm done. I said that was my last one. It was already 2 times past the riskiness that I shouldn't have been. They got me. They take it. They, doesn't kill me, whatever. And then 2 more times though, people have reached out and I was like, yeah, I'm free to work. Yeah. I've never done this before. I can do it. And the next time I gave it, next time I did it, it was the same system. I also, like, at that point, I reached out to some, like, crypto scam YouTubers, and I tried to explain everything that happened to me, and I was like, hey, like, could you take my information and make a video about it? Maybe we could, like, profit share off it or something like that. And just so I can, like,
hustling.
I was just trying to make a little bit of money back, or that I got scammed. I'm like, yo, I'll give you my personal experience if we can, like, share it. One person just wasn't interested, the other person didn't reply. I'm like, man, I don't know. It's a pretty genius crypto scam for me. It was a little bit different because they actually, like, made you work. They did it over, like, a week longer and whatever. So another person reached out and they're like, hey, are you looking to make money? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm looking to make money, because they always give you a top-up balance to start your training. So they always give you a couple $100s to get you going to take more from you later. So I went through the training. I did that. I did it for like 2 days. I pocketed $300. The first time it came up, we're like, hey, you need to put money in now because you got this link. I was like, no, I'm out. I was like, my parents just passed away in a car accident. I'm homeless. I can't afford this. I tried to like really make them guilt. And then they went deep down the rabbit hole of like, just ask your friends. It's temporary. Just ask any of your friends for a loan. And then I'm just like, you filthy fucking scammers. So watch out for that. And then the last time I did it, I forget what the second one was. It was the same system, but like it wasn't Spotify anymore. It was something else. And then the last time it was TikTok shop. You had to verify TikTok shop purchases. And then I pulled like $150 out of that one before they're like, oh, you need to put money. The last time I did it, they weren't as lenient. They didn't give me as much as the first time before. They're like, oh, it's time to put your own money in. It was like first day, they were like, time to put your own money in. The first time I did it, it must have been new or something, because it was like 3 days before I had to put any money into it. Oh, I will say, before I got scammed on that day, there was a midweek day where I did have to top it up. And then it was one time, and then it worked, and then I went back, and then the next day was fine. So that's why at the end of the 5th day, I'm already, I was more convinced because I'm like, I've done this in the past and then it worked and then I completed my day. And I only got fucked now because they gave me that weekly bonus. So I just want to fix this and go back to normal and go back to making 50 cents per transaction, not $5. But yeah, that was my lesson learned on me getting scammed. And Teresa made fun of me, rightfully deserved. So I was willing to take that risk because I really wanted it to work so we could go do RV life.
Yeah, you were desperate. And that's how they get you. They prey off of the weak.
They did.
So,
and the next 2 ones that I did, and I just scooped my money and left. So I earned a little bit. I felt good doing that because, you know,
scam the scammers.
I scammed the scammers a little bit and I got a little money back. And somebody did message me the other day and they're like, hey, do you want to work? And I had a feeling it was the same thing because they'll always be like, okay, let's meet up on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And then they'll send you a thing and they're like, oh, sign up on this website. And the password verification is so easy and everything is like base minimum. Like they make you feel like you put a password, but it's like,
I hope
no
you didn't
character
use your
restrictions.
actual...
No, I just made it like whatever. I made everything random. But it was like it didn't require a symbol, didn't require a number. There was no like minimum. The password was like 1, 2, 3, and that was it. There was no like actual security protocol for it.
Yeah.
So that time they went all out. They took me like a week. They walked me through it. Had a group chat in every day. People are like, oh, no, I did this and this. And then the last 2 times it was like boom. Right, the second day on the first one and the second day on the second one, they were like, that's when they started asking me to put my own funds in, and I was just like, it's like they became lower effort on the scam the more times. And the last time somebody messaged me, and I'm just like, it's just not even worth my time to like go through the process of like trying to like transfer it. Well, I'm just like, I'd rather focus on what I'm focusing on right now. So
yeah, exactly.
Watch out if that happens to you.
Yeah, don't fall for it.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason that I did fall for it is because I was actively searching for a job and I didn't realize it at first. But then the more I did, I'm just like, this is sketchy, this is sketchy, this is sketchy, but it's working. This is sketchy, but it's working until it doesn't.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah.
Learn from Denver's hard lesson.
Thank Teresa for that because I was going to bury that with me. I was going to take that to the grave.
It's good to share.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate all your support. Smashing the like button, over 5-star reviews on Spotify, and drop in the comments. Once again, you got any Q&A questions for us? If there's something about the crypto scam you didn't understand, you got a question for it, I'll dive into it in the Q&A on the next episode. But we appreciate all your support, and we'll see you guys next week or on Patreon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye. Pacifically. She's a lifelong hypochondriac. Hypochondriac.
Bro, that's my favorite word.
Yeah.
Hydrochondriac. I am afraid of water.
Some people are like that.
You'll have to persevere. You'll have to persevere. I've only lived with one other guy. I've only lived with one other group of my room. Oh my God!